Complex permanent tissue are tissues which are made up of more than one type of cell, and that's why they are called complex because they have more than one type of cell. But although they are made of different cells, they perform a common function. So what we can say about complex permanent tissue? Different kinds of cell performing a particular function is called complex permanent tissue, and they are different from simple permanent tissue. Do you remember why? Because in simple permanent tissue, similar type of cells perform a particular function, and that's why they are called simple because they have only one type of cell performing a particular function, while in complex permanent tissue, different kinds of cell perform a particular function. In plants, two kinds of complex permanent tissue are present, the xylem and the phloem. They together are called the vascular bundle. A vascular bundle is a part of the transport system in vascular plants. That means this tissue help in the transport within the plants. So today students, we are going to learn about complex permanent tissue, biology, class 9. Hello students, welcome to Poonam's classroom. So as I told you, complex permanent tissue are of two types, xylem and phloem, which are also called conducting tissues. Xylem is the complex permanent tissue which helps in the transport of water and minerals inside the plant. Phloem is the other complex permanent tissue which takes part in conduction of food inside the plant. So xylem takes part in water transport and phloem takes part in food transport. Let's learn about each of them. Xylem is made up of four elements, the trachea, the vessels, xylem fibre and xylem parenchyma. Tracheae. Tracheae are elongated fusiform cells. Fusiform means they have the tapering ends and they are spindle shaped. This is how a trachea will look. See, they are spindle shaped, isn't it? And they have tapered ends. They are elongated cells. They are densely arranged and overlaps one another. Their cell wall is made up of lignin, and within the cell, small opening called pits are present. These white color structures you can see within the cell on the sides of the cell are the openings which are called pits. Since they have tapering end, they cannot stand on one another. So they stack on one another and have overlapping cell wall. Water passes through these pits. Trachea is found in both flowering and non-flowering plants. But trachea is the only transport system in non-flowering plants. In flowering plants, trachea and vessels are the transport system. Tracheae are made up of dead cells. What is the next component of the xylem? Yes, it is the vessels. Vessels are cells with larger diameter and showing more flattened ends than tracheae. Can you see? Isn't it a pipe-like structure with a larger diameter and they do not have tapering ends like tracheae? They are joined on top of one another and form a long pipe through which water is transported. Like tracheae, they also have perforated cell wall, which are also called pits. Apart from the perforation in the side walls, there are perforation in the transverse wall through which water moves from one cell to the other. Vessels are made up of dead cells. The walls of vessels are also lignified. That is, they have lignin in the cell wall. Vessels are the main conducting cells in the flowering plants. In flowering plants, vessels and tracheae both are present, but in non-flowering plants, only tracheae are present. Tracheae and vessel together are called tracheary element. So this tracheary element help in the transport of water from the root to each part of the plant. Next we will talk about xylem fiber. Xylem fiber are sclerenchyma fibers found in the xylem. They are found between tracheae and vessels. Their main function is to provide mechanical strength. They are made up of sclerenchyma cells, so you can understand that they are also dead cells. The fourth element is xylem parenchyma. They are thin wall cells which help in the storage of food. They also help in slow lateral conduction of water. Xylem parenchyma are the only living element of the xylem. So students, these are the four elements of the xylem, and this is the longitudinal section of xylem. We see the pipe-like vessels. They are stacked on top of one another. They have pits marked in white. Beside it is the tracheids, long spiral tapered end cells overlapping each other. In between tracheids and vessels, there are long xylem fibers. And on the other side, you can see the xylem parenchyma, which are the only living element of the xylem. Is it clear, my dear students? Okay, so now you know everything about xylem. Can you tell me the differences between vessels and tracheids? Let me know in the comment. These are some of the differences which I am going to tell you. Vessels are the main conducting cells in flowering plants. Tracheids are the main conducting cells of non-flowering plants and ferns. Vessels are short cells arranged in rows forming large tubes. Tracheids are long cells with overlapping ends. Vessels have large inner diameter. Tracheids have small inner diameter. Vessels have small and abundant pit. Tracheids have large and less abundant pit. Perforated plate is present in the vessels. Perforated plate is not present in the vessels. Why? Because their ends are tapered. High efficiency in water conduction, and tracheids have low efficiency in water conduction. So these are the some of the differences between vessels and tracheids. If you know more, let me know in the comment. Next we will talk about another complex permanent tissue, the phloem. So what does phloem do? Do you remember? Yes, you are correct. It transports food to all parts of the plant. Phloem, like xylem, is also made up of 4 elements: the sieve tube, the companion cell, the phloem parenchyma, and the phloem fibre. Let's see about each of them. This is the structure of a sieve tube. Sieve tubes are typical conducting cells in the flowering plants. They are flattened cells arranged in longitudinal rows that communicate with each other through sieve plate located at the transverse cell wall. These are the sieve plates. Can you see the pores in the sieve plates? Sieve plates have large size pores that allow the direct connection between adjoining cytoplasm. The sides of the sieve tube also have pores, as you can see here. Sieve tubes are living cells. Sieve tubes are the main conductive element in flowering plants. I told you just now that sieve tubes are living, but sieve tubes do not have nucleus and reduced cytoplasm. So, how do they perform their basic functions? Thanks to their companion cells. They look after the metabolism of the sieve tube. Companion cells have large prominent nucleus and dense cytoplasm. Companion cells do not store starch, so you can understand that companion cells are also living cells. The next element is phloem parenchyma. These cells are thin-walled and living cells. They have 2 functions: storage and slow lateral conduction of food. The 4th element of phloem is the phloem fibers. They are the only non-living component of phloem. They are thick-walled, elongated, spindle-shaped dead cells which have narrow lumen. Lumen means inside of the cell is narrow. They provide mechanical strength to the tissue. So, this is the longitudinal section of phloem. See the sieve tubes with perforated sieve plate. See that the adjacent side of the sieve tube also has pores. These are required for communication with the companion cell. These adjacent cells are the companion cells. Can you see the prominent nucleus in the companion cell? Beside companion cell, there is the phloem parenchyma, and adjacent to it are the phloem fibers. So, this is the structure of the phloem. In non-flowering plants and in ferns, another type of cell called sieve cells are present. NCERT has referred to sieve cells and said that phloem has 5 elements. So, students, now you know everything about phloem and xylem. So, before we stop this video, let's see the differences between xylem and phloem. And my dear students, before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more such videos. So let's see the difference. Xylem conducts water and minerals. Phloem conducts food material. In xylem, conduction is unidirectional. Why? Because xylem has to take the water from the ground through the root and transport it to the topmost part of the plant. So the conduction is always from bottom to up. But phloem is bidirectional because food is produced in all the leaves. Now from these leaves, the food has to go down till the root and up till the topmost part of the plant. So it is bidirectional. Xylem components are mostly dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living. Phloem components are mostly alive. Only phloem fibre is dead.